Once upon a time, there was a boy robot who had been programmed by his creator, Heinrich von Bitchslapper, to dislike the women's, and his name was Misogynoid. Misogynoid was programmed to seize every opportunity to be mean to the women's, offensive to the women's, and sexist to the women's. One day, one of the women's was waiting next to Misogynoid at the train station. All she said to Misogynoid was, "It's a nice day, isn't it?" But due to his programming, he answered, "What would you know? You're only a woman." Offended, the woman replied, "That's a horrible thing to say." To which Misogynoid replied, "Not as horrible as your widescreen arse, chubbo," sending the woman away in tears. Misogynoid didn't care at all that he had hurt a woman's feelings. It was as if Misogynoid had no feelings whatsoever, which was also true because he was a robot and didn't have a feelings chip. Once on the train, Misogynoid sat between two women's with his legs wide apart, bot spreading and exposing his nuts. "You bitches smell disgusting," asserted Misogynoid, subject to his programming. "You've got that nauseating woman smell where you attempt to cover up your abhorrent stench with perfume, but of course fail miserably because failure is all women know," he said in an extremely loud voice. Seizing the opportunity to play White Knight, one of the Manginas stepped forward to defend the women's, exposing his blatant infantilization of women's by demonstrating that he thinks the women's can't defend themselves and that they need men to stand up for them. "If there's one thing I hate more than a woman, it's a woman with a penis," laughed Misogynoid as he switched his left hand to circular saw mode. Next stop for Misogynoid was a quick trip through the car wash. Then Misogynoid went to the local school and after locking the female teacher in the stationery closet, which brought him great pleasure despite the absence of a feelings chip, made the boys and girls take masculinity lessons. He taught them that historically the greatest threat to men was women, that one man is killed by his partner in a domestic violence situation every 6 days without mentioning the number of women killed at all, that it wasn't men's fault that women behaved like morons and like pigs, and that changing women's toxic femininity wasn't men's responsibility, but that women needed to step up and call out women's bad behaviour wherever they saw it. That evening, Misogynoid was a guest on Q&A, where he debated Australia's most hated feminist, Tony Jones. As to be expected, Tony Jones tried to shut Misogynoid down by interrupting him every time he made a valid point, but Misogynoid was equal to the task and countered Tony's tactics by kicking him in the vagina. Later that night, on the way home, Misogynoid saw a woman walking home alone, and so to terrorise her, and just for a laugh, he chased her into an industrial facility. Unfortunately for Misogynoid, her name was Sarah Connor, and he suddenly found himself terminated in a hydraulic press. I guess it doesn't pay to be a misogynist after all. The end.